Okay, so with 6 out of the 10 players not present for the practice, I almost considered not even teaching this, but you know what? I had to. I was planning on prepping for this game and this particular lesson for weeks, so I wasn't going to just let it go. So I made a video for those of you that missed it. If you can see it, great. If not, we will go over it, again. This happened to be a good time to go over it because we're playing two teams that are going to play exactly this way. So hopefully we'll deal with it as it comes. But we talked about two different concepts when it comes to breaking traps, whether it be full court traps or specifically for this thing, half court traps. We talked about from a fundamental perspective the whole idea that you have to catch the ball and turn and face, and not just dribble as soon as you catch it. The whole idea is that you know when teams try to press and trap, they try to speed you up and get you all excitable. But the real way to beat these things is to just beat it with poise. Just to kind of know that you're going to have outlets and know that you can make those passes with confidence. A lot of pass fakes and that type of thing. Um, then the other thing that we did was kind of a team concept, um, which is very fundamental to breaking these traps. The idea being that as long as people know that their teammates are going to be in the right positions, you'll be able to deal with these traps with a lot more confidence. I mean, you'll know that when a trap's coming, it's no big deal because I know I'm always going to have somebody available to make that confident pass to. And to exhibit what we're talking about, we set the defense up in this diamond press, which we've run a zillion times, and you know we kind of ran our press breaker against diamond to show you just kind of this idea, right? So on the inbound, you'll see this is where we usually go, right? We send this guy cutting here to the middle, and this guy kind of saving here, kind of being a safety valve. The idea being that in any type of trap situation, whether it be a full court trap, zone trap, half court trap, whatever, the person who's getting trapped always has to have three available passes. And those passes always have to be one has to be towards the middle, the second has to be sideline, and the third has to be a safety. Okay? And that's kind of a theme that we kind of play out every single trap. Always you have to have a middle, a sideline, and a safety. And we talked about the idea that if the guy who's about to get this ball knows that these three things are always going to be available to him, he's not going to worry about getting trapped. He's actually going to relish it because he knows that something's going to be available. I mean, remember the idea behind trapping is, and dealing with the trap is remembering that if you got two guys guarding the ball, somebody's open, right? So even if, like for example, these guys do a really good job of getting in the way, it's still two people having to guard three passes. I mean, you can't do it. So, as long as the guy catching the ball knows that these guys are going to be in the right positions, he's not going to be too afraid of the trap. So that's why diamond is actually not a very difficult trap to break if, again, if you have your people in the right positions, and you don't get completely swarmed by this trap, and then you can see what these things are. Now, the reality is we kind of did this kind of as background because the teams we're playing later this week, both teams are playing teams that play this 1-3-1 half court trap. And this kind of concept is very, very helpful to us when you figure out how to beat the 1-3-1 trap. Like you'll see, this is kind of the way it usually sets up. I mean, you have the ball, and we're trying to go this way. We're blue. And what happens is the other team kind of forces you into this kind of trapping area over here. Um, and it's very difficult to kind of deal with unless you kind of know what you're trying to accomplish. So you think about it from a conceptual perspective. I mean, what we just talked about, it's the same thing. I mean, you always want to have these kind of three guys, these three passes. You want to have a pass to the middle, you want to have a pass to the sideline, and you want to have a safety. Okay, so it doesn't really matter whether you're at full court or at half court. if you're taking this ball up and you see these two guys waiting for you, and you see the one kind of moving you into that trap area, and you don't think you can get out of it, it's not a big deal, because as long as you know that you're going to have these three passes, you could take this trap pretty aggressively. I mean, if you make this pass down to this five man that's over here, it's all over. I mean, four is going to be wide open, or the three. I mean, there's no way two guys are going to guard three. So again, just the same idea. You come up, you take this trap. If you don't like what you see here, and just reverse it. That's safety, and you can start it all over on the other side. Okay. Now again, we only did a couple of reps with it, and it's kind of difficult to replicate the level of pressure that you're going to get from these teams that have played all the time. But at least it's something, and it's a little background for how we're going to attack these things going forward. So again, you're going to see all different variations of these traps in different AAU stuff and all this. So it's important to at least have conceptually the ideas behind it. The idea being that, again, with every trap, you want to have three options right away: sideline, middle, and safety. And that's pretty much it.